You're on a rooftop in Vancouver's Yaletown district, 4 stories up, wind cutting across False Creek like a knife. It's 2:17 a.m. February, the kind of damp cold that gets into your bones even through the ghillie suit. Your rifle is a suppressed SR-25 variant, Canadian-made parts swapped in, no serials, no prints, nothing that screams Ottawa. Rule number 1, never leave a trace that points back home. The target has exactly 11 seconds to live. He steps out of a late-night sushi spot, laughing with 2 bodyguards, former PLA contractors who think they're untouchable on Canadian soil. He's been funneling money and influence for months, quietly pressuring diaspora communities, leaking classified tech to Beijing, the kind of foreign interference that ends up in CSIS briefings marked eyes only. Ottawa can't touch him legally, but you can. Your scope settles on his temple. Wind is 4 kph from the northwest. Range, 387 meters. Earpiece crackles once, your handler's voice calm as a Tim Hortons drive-through order. Execute. You exhale. Finger takes the slack. The shot is a soft put that nobody on the street even registers. The target drops like a bag of bricks. 1 bodyguard spins, scanning rooftops, but you're already moving, sliding the rifle into a pre-cut duffel, wiping the ledge with a bleach rag, descending the fire escape 2 steps at a time. Street level, you're just another guy in a black Canada Goose jacket, hood up, blending into the rain. Sirens start wailing 3 blocks away by the time you're in the Uber. Driver thinks you're some finance bro who had one too many. Next morning, the news calls it a targeted gang. Police are investigating. Beijing denies everything. The money pipelines dry up overnight. And you? You're already on a WestJet flight back to Ottawa, reading the in-flight magazine like it's the most interesting thing in the world. That's the job. Nobody cheers. Nobody even knows you exist. So, how the hell did you end up here? Flashback 6 years. You were JTF2, Canada's Tier 1, the guys they send when Delta or SAS say too risky. 15 years in, classified tours in Kandahar, Mali, Latvia, places the public never hears about. You've got the medals in a drawer somewhere, and the scars that make airport security look twice. Knees are shot, back clicks every time you tie your boots. The forces offered you a desk job and a nice pension. You were half tempted. Then the unmarked envelope shows up in your mailbox in Petawawa. No return address, just a phone number and the words, call before Zo 900. You almost throw it out, but you call. Next day you're in a bland office park in Canada, sitting across from 2 guys in off-the-rack suits who know more about you than your ex-wife ever did. They've got your entire file, every deployment, every kill, the divorce, your daughter's soccer schedule, even the credit card debt you thought you hid. We've been watching you for 38 months. The older one says, no small talk. They lay it out flat. CSIS isn't just intel anymore. There's a unit nobody talks about, Special Measures Section, Title 10 authorities, ministerial sign-off, 0 public oversight. You don't arrest threats. You remove them. Quietly. Deniably. No embassy, no backup, no JAG lawyers. If you get caught, Ottawa disavows. Your family gets told training accident. Your body never comes home. Death benefits wired through a shell company in the Caymans. You sit there thinking about your daughter's face when she asks why dad's never around for Christmas. You say yes anyway, because some threats don't get handled in courtrooms. They fly you out the same week. Training isn't the farm. It's the compound, 9,400 acres of frozen bush and old quarry outside Petawawa, disguised as a military reserve. They tell the locals it's for emergency preparedness exercises. Locals call it the place where the weird black helicopters land at 3 a.m. Your Delta SEAL buddies thought they were hot shit. This place laughs at that. First month is pure tradecraft. Dead drops behind Tim Hortons in small-town Ontario, chalk marks on hydro poles, thumbtacks in park benches, microfilm rolled inside crossword puzzles from the Ottawa Citizen. You learn to run surveillance detection routes that would make a Toronto rush hour taxi driver quit. Spot a tail in 30 seconds, or you're benched. Counter-surveillance. Follow your instructor through the Byward Market without him ever seeing you. You get made the first 12 times. By week 8, you're ghosting him so clean, he buys you a beer later and doesn't even know why. Covers are next. You build a full legend from scratch. Names. Small town in Saskatchewan. Fake parents. Fake dog named Maple. Opinions on everything from hockey to the carbon tax. You live it. Dream it. Wake up one night in the barracks screaming in your cover's voice. Weapons. Foreign only. AK-47s with Pakistani markings. Czech CZ-75s. Even the occasional Chinese QBZ if the op calls for it. You field strip them blindfolded in the dark while instructors spray you with a hose. Compensate for the shitty maintenance, they bark. This isn't the range at CFB Trenton. Then the hard stuff. Interrogation resistance. 72 hours no sleep. Stress positions until your shoulders feel like they're ripping. They hit every button. Your daughter, the friends you lost in Helmand, the time you almost pulled the trigger on a kid. Right to Marie. Everyone breaks. The goal isn't to hold out forever. It's to buy the team 6 extra minutes. High-speed driving in the quarry. pitting cars at 120 kph on icy gravel, using traffic circles and Gatineau as weapons, controlled crashes that leave you walking away while the other guy is still counting stars. And the unspoken part. You will kill civilians if the mission demands it. Wife, kid, janitor. No hesitation. Some guys wash out right there. You don't. You compartmentalize. That's what makes you valuable. By graduation, you're one of 30 operators in the entire section. No ranks. Just first names or call signs. Your team, ex-JTF2 like you, one guy from CSIS who speaks Mandarin like a native. A quiet woman from the RCMP who can disappear in a crowd of 50. You look like contractors. Carhartt jackets, ball caps, beards that haven't seen a razor in months. Gear is unlimited. Custom suppressors, encrypted sat phones that ping through Canadian satellites, safe houses in every major city from Halifax to Victoria. Budget? Nobody audits it. The mission starts simple. Your first direct action job is in Montreal. Target's a facilitator, Russian oligarch money laundering through real estate, funding sleeper cells that recruit disillusioned kids for lone wolf attacks. You go in as a German real estate consultant. Boring meetings, bad poutine jokes, the works. You map his life for 3 weeks. Apartment in the Plateau, favorite bar in Saint Laurent, girlfriend who works late Tuesdays. Tuesday night, 1:47 a.m. You and 2 teammates slip the lock in 11 seconds. Girlfriend gets a light sedative in her wine. She'll wake up thinking she just passed out. Target gets 3 suppressed rounds. Center mass, 1 to the head. 90 seconds later, you're gone. Next morning, it's a botched robbery. The network collapses. No more funding. No more cells. Canada sleeps a little safer. You feel nothing. Professional. That's the point. Then the bigger ones. Destabilization ops. Foreign interference that's too deep for diplomacy. You spend 4 months in a Southeast Asian country that's been quietly threatening Canadian mining interests and diaspora safety. You pose as a humanitarian aid worker. Real credentials. Real NGOs. You find the cracks. Generals who hate the regime. Politicians who want power. Families that have been disappeared. You move money through crypto wallets registered in Vancouver. You extract relatives to safe houses in Thailand. You feed controlled leaks to local media. Protests swell. The regime cracks down, looks brutal on camera. Sanctions pile on. By month 6, the inner circle is defecting. You're long gone before the coup footage hits the news. Looks organic. Looks like the people rose up. Nobody ever mentions the quiet Canadian who bought the plane tickets. Hostage rescue is the one that still hits different. Canadian journalists grabbed in a country that doesn't officially exist on any map. 72-hour deadline. No military involvement, too loud. You go in with 3 guys, businessman covers, bribes to local cops, a floor plan bought with cash and cigarettes. 4 a.m., assault. Suppressors coughing. Rooms cleared in silence. You find her zip-tied in the back room, terrified. 11 minutes later, she's in the van. You bribe 3 checkpoints with envelopes thick enough to buy silence. She writes a bestseller when she gets home. Never knows who the bearded guy in the passenger seat really was. That's the life. You live in a 1-bedroom in Ottawa's glebe when you're not deployed. Neighbors think you're a mid-level policy analyst at Global Affairs. You've got a daughter who's now 16 and barely knows you. She thinks dad travels a lot for work. You miss her soccer games because you're in a safe house in Burnaby, waiting on a Chinese MSS officer who needs removing. Your marriage ended 3 years ago. She said you came back different, always checking exits, sleeping with one eye open, flinching at fireworks. You don't blame her. The isolation is the real killer. No medals. No parades. No book deals. If you die on an op, your file gets sealed, your family gets a generic condolence letter, and your name never appears anywhere. There's no wall of stars at CSIS headquarters. Just a quiet room in the basement with a single unmarked plaque. Nobody talks about it. Some nights you sit on your balcony with a double-double from Tim's, watching the Rideau Canal freeze, and you wonder if it's worth it. The threats keep coming. Foreign agents, terror financiers, cyber saboteurs who want to cripple the grid in the middle of a Canadian winter. Someone has to be the shadow between the law and the necessity. You're that shadow. You never asked for